Welcome back to today's English Easy Listening Story with Questions. Today's lesson is called The Missing Key. Let's get started. It was a quiet Friday afternoon at the Oak Ridge Library. The sun was starting to set, casting long shadows across the heavy wooden bookshelves. The library was completely empty, except for 3 people. Mr. Harris, the elderly head librarian, Sophia, a university student working part-time, and David, a local writer who visited every week. Suddenly, a sharp gasp echoed from the back office. Mr. Harris hurried out, his face pale with worry. "The golden key is gone," Mr. Harris announced, his voice trembling. This was no ordinary key. It was a historic antique that unlocked the library's rare manuscript vault, a room containing books worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Mr. Harris explained that he had placed the key on his office desk at exactly 4 p.m. before stepping away to organize the history section. When he returned at 4:30 p.m., the desk was bare. Because the library's heavy security doors required a staff pass to exit, Mr. Harris knew the thief had to be someone still locked inside the building. He immediately locked the main entrance and called Inspector Thomas to investigate. While waiting for the detective to arrive, Mr. Harris decided to question the only 2 people who had been near the back office during that 30-minute window. First, Mr. Harris spoke with Sophia, the student worker. Sophia was sitting at the front return desk, stacked high with thick textbooks. She looked up, startled by the accusation. "I have been right here since 4 p.m., Mr. Harris," she said quickly, gesturing to the computer. "The library is hosting a major book donation drive tomorrow, and I have been typing the titles of every returned book into the system without stopping. I didn't see anyone enter your office." Next, the librarian turned to David, the writer. David was sitting at a corner table surrounded by open reference books and a half-empty cup of coffee. He adjusted his glasses and shook his head calmly. "I was in the biography section from 4:05 p.m. until just a few minutes ago," David explained. "I am researching a new historical fiction novel and was completely focused on taking notes. I only walked past your office once to stretch my legs, but the door was shut." Just then, Inspector Thomas arrived. He listened intently as Mr. Harris explained the situation and repeated the statements of the 2 suspects. The inspector walked into the librarian's private office. He examined the empty mahogany desk. There were no signs of forced entry, but the detective noticed something interesting: a faint, fresh coffee ring on a stack of blank papers right next to where the key used to sit. Inspector Thomas walked back out to the main lobby and approached Sophia's desk. He looked at her neat workspace, her computer screen, and her hands, which were moving quickly across the keyboard. "Sophia," the inspector said gently, "show me the digital log of the books you have been scanning and entering this afternoon." Sophia hesitated for a moment, her cheeks turning slightly pink, before pulling up the database on the monitor. The inspector studied the timestamps on the screen. Then he walked over to David's corner table. He looked at the historical biographies, the handwritten notes, and the ceramic coffee cup. The detective picked up the cup and felt the outside of it with his palm. It was lukewarm. A confident smile spread across Inspector Thomas's face. He turned around to face the small group gathered by the bookshelves. "The mystery is solved," Inspector Thomas declared. "The thief thought they could use their regular library routine as a cover, but they left behind a piece of evidence they couldn't erase. Mr. Harris looked astonished. Who was it, Inspector? The detective pointed directly at David. Our writer friend here is the one who took the key. He claimed he was in the biography section the whole time, but his coffee cup tells a very different story. When I examined the crime scene, I found a fresh ring of coffee on the desk papers, the inspector explained. Mr. Harris doesn't drink coffee, and Sophia has been confined to the front desk. David, you brought your coffee into the private office while Mr. Harris was away, set it down to grab the key, and accidentally left a stamp of your presence behind. David's mouth fell open. He slowly reached into his briefcase, pulled out the heavy golden key, and placed it on the table. Once again, a sharp eye for detail saved history. All right, now let's look at some comprehension questions. This means how much of the story did you understand? Here's the first question. What did the stolen golden key lock? The key unlocked the library's rare manuscript vault. Between what specific times did the theft take place? The theft happened between 4 o'clock p.m. and 4:30 p.m. What did Sophia claim she was doing at the front desk during the time of the crime? She claimed she was typing the titles of returned books into the library's computer system for a donation drive. What physical clue did Inspector Thomas find on the papers inside the librarian's office? He found a faint, fresh coffee ring on a stack of blank papers. How did the inspector know that David was the person who stole the key? David was the only person with a coffee cup. He set his coffee cup down on the librarian's desk while stealing the key, leaving a coffee ring behind, which ruined his alibi of staying in the biography section. Very good job. How many of the questions did you get right? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.